You talk a lot about love of self, but it's hard for me to understand what is that. I feel I love myself, but sometimes I feel I do things that are not aligned with the love of self.
Okay, so loving yourself unconditionally has many aspects. The first aspect is you have to find yourself, because we don't know who we are. We think we're our programs. We think we're our physical. And that is our human experience. But we are so much more. We have to discover our divinity, that which is permanent, that which doesn't change, that which is eternal, no? And that is an energy. And it's an incredible energy. It's powerful. It's peaceful. It has the answers to everything and a complete joy for life. And when you discover that and you start to have that experience, you start to make choices based in feeding that experience. And the first thing you start to do, or not do, is abandon yourself. So why do humans abandon themselves? They abandon for approval. They abandon to fit in. They abandon to get points or to gain power. There's millions of reasons why. And we start to stop doing that. We start to be genuine, authentic, integral, spontaneous. We begin to be ourselves. And that for me, and that is unconditional love of self. And as a consequence, we give that. Because the judgment falls. We don't judge ourselves anymore. So naturally, we stop judging everyone else. Yeah? So that's what it is. So if you think you love yourself, you can love yourself more. Yeah?
Why do we continue doing what we know that we shouldn't do and it harms ourselves?
You know, we're robotic. We're so habitual. We've been doing the same things forever. If you sit and watch humanity, they're like robots. We move into action and do exactly the same things. There's very few people that live in the moment, that are spontaneous, that see things afresh, see themselves afresh, see everything else afresh. Life becomes like a monotony. I get up, I do this. The weekend comes, and then I do that. And it's just all the time the same. And we don't think, we just do it. Because we're not present. We don't live in the real world. We live here. In the matrix of our intellect. In the should do's and shouldn't do. When we start to have consciousness, we start to be present. And we start to see that we're still doing the same things. And we start to stop. But until we're present, we can't change. You know, when I first started expanding consciousness, and I was very positive, no? And I imagine relatively evolved because of my circumstances. But I was very robotic. And I had fear. And I wasn't even conscious of it until I became present. And then I started to change. So why? Because we've been doing it all our lives. The same thing. So it's just a habit. And we're always attracted to the same thing. And the things that we're attracted to or addicted to always take us into suffering. Because we're addicted to suffering. That's why.
And I want to know, as we go cleaning our window of perception, we can stop identifying with the human drama, with duality.
Absolutely. That's what it's for. Because we have all these buttons. And someone touches them and we react. We respond. And the system is removing all of that. So our response is not mechanical. We're removing the buttons. And you start to witness the drama without suffering it, without caring about it. Because you look and you say, oh, I used to do that. Oh, I used to do that. Oh, I recognize that. Because everything that transpires externally, you've experienced. But once you clean, it's no longer yours. And it doesn't affect you. Because you can see it's just the addiction to suffering. So yes, it's for that. So the things don't affect you. You don't suffer. You might have a reaction and then you let it go. You're not still thinking about it.
To have more clarity about unity and perfection. Can you tell me how you experience, how you see, how you feel, how you experience unity and the perfection?
I experience it from my divinity. I see perfection because I see the illusion. I see humanity, the human experience. But for me, it's like a play. And it's a perfect play. But that's only because I know who I am. And I live in the moment. It's impossible for me to share my experience. Because I look so normal. Like I'm so human. I'm extremely human. And I never used to be. And now I am. I live in the moment, I'm spontaneous. I have this energy that's in everything. I can't explain it. You have to find it for yourself. All I can do is share my experience and tell you what it's not. It's not that, it's not that, it's not that.
A year ago, I finished in a very weird way with a partner. Never want to see me again and tell me why no more. And that was very difficult for me. There are things that I think I'm fine and suddenly it reminds him. So my question is how to do for those things that suddenly, for some reason, they bring back that memory, it will not affect me anymore.
You know, you've got to let go. You know, you're still attached to the romantic idea. And he just left. What are you holding on to? You're holding on to a dream, an idea. And you're also wondering what you did wrong. And you did nothing wrong. People have strange reactions. People lack courage and integrity. And you have to give that to yourself. And it's natural that you're affected. Anything that touches our heart affects us. If we're emotional, you know, so don't be hard with yourself. But stop suffering. Just think. But a little bit rationally. What do you think? He just left. Ciao. Ciao, bello. A prossimo.
I work as a psychologist. And few years ago, after pandemia, I was able to see how I notice, especially in teenagers, the questioning about gender and a lot of a transition towards transsexual, change of name from woman to man, vice versa. And I have been training to confront this as in my job, but it's something I'm concerned about. Some cases are, I don't know if to say, are true, are real. And another ones that have to do with this wave of confusion. I'm from psychology or psychiatry. You can study, but I want to listen to what you have to say about it. From consciousness, what you can say.
You know, everyone has masculinity and femininity. And as we're growing, we go through moments where how we identify with ourselves is very confused. You know, there's hormones, the external approval, the preferences, the attractions, and it's like this huge new world. And it's very much in fashion. It's very much in fashion. And one thing I notice, that when you're a teenager and you want attention, you want to be different. You want something that's going to make everyone put their attention on you. And you're going to go through many experiences, but you don't have the maturity to define yourself completely, to the point where you go and have a sex change. That's a big thing. And I don't think it should be allowed until the person matures. Because you change. You change all the time. And clearly, at some point, that's the responsibility of that adult, not a child. What I see is that the elevation of consciousness is creating a lot of balance. It's not so masculine, so feminine. There's much more unity. And everything's much more open. And that's a wonderful thing, no? Because the prejudices are falling and people are free to be whatever. And it should be like that. The world should be like that. There shouldn't be prejudices. There should be the capacity to be whatever. But we have to get to a point where we don't define ourselves through that. We have to define ourselves on a much deeper level, irrespective of our preferences. Because the duality, the human experience, is just becoming more complex. And really, to be happy It doesn't matter what we change until we're happy within ourselves. You know, we have to be happy within ourselves, however that looks. But it can't be because of an external change. The external change can come, but it has to be a clear moment. That's what I feel. You know, but then again, it doesn't matter.
Suppose that love of self had matured with a history of a lot of failures in partnerships. How to know when you're in front of the correct person?
I know. No, I know. I know. I know exactly when you're in front of the correct person. When you're looking in the mirror.
How can I know that when I'm going to give to my relationship allows me to continue loving myself? Suddenly I see myself giving in because love or because the other one wants to be more in a party or things like that. I get confused. And I feel that suddenly I abandon myself, not being honest. And also I feel that love or the to be companion, to be mates, has to do with enjoying with a partner, no?
Okay. You know, I don't know much about this. But what I do know is if you have a good relationship with yourself and you love yourself unconditionally, you want to give that to other people. But not to the point where you're abandoning yourself. And you have to find that clarity internally. Because what you're talking about is, am I being selfish? And because I have a partner, I should. But when you love yourself, it's natural that you want to give to your partner. It's natural you want to support them, to be intimate with them, to share things with them. It's natural. And you don't have to think about it. But if you're thinking, oh, am I abandoning myself? Am I doing something I shouldn't? You clearly are. If you're a person that has the capacity to love, because not everyone does, no? If you have that capacity, and then you have that question, for sure you are abandoning yourself. Because when you're giving unconditionally, that question doesn't come. Okay, so you have to use your own compass. And know.
I work where there is a lot of fear and injustice. A lot of that, the many things are handled not because it's the correct, because there are interests behind. And it's very hard for me when I start becoming conscious of all the fear that we handle everything there. I start a question, to what point is a moment for me to change, to leave? Or to what point I'm avoiding the responsibility of feeling and continue moving.
So you're compromising your ideals. But in order to stay there, you have to continue doing that. Or else you can't be there. So you're in a corrupt situation, but you want to stay there. So you need to feel everything. But you'll know. You know, as you expand in consciousness, you get to a point where if something makes you feel so bad, you decide to change. But that time will come.
Pero va a llegar ese momento.
And if you keep unifying,
Si sigues unificando,
it'll either stop affecting you
deja de afectar
and you just think, oh, well,
y piensas, y bueno,
or
o
you won't be able to
no vas a poder hacer eso
and you'll have to leave.
y vas a tener que irte.
But you'll find that
Pero
clarity.
vas a encontrar tú esa claridad.
But the world's like that.
Pero el mundo es así.
It's like that.
Es así.
Everywhere.
En todas partes.
Corruption, power, money.
Corrupción, el poder, el dinero.
And it's like that.
Y es así.
You know what? We expect something different.
¿Por qué esperamos algo diferente?
Find that internally.
Encuentra eso internamente.
Find that peace
Encuentra
internally.
esa paz.
Find that integrity internally.
Encuentra tu integridad interna.
And that's what's important.
Y eso es lo más importante.
And maybe you'll choose to do something
Tal vez
else.
eliges hacer algo más.
Really.
De verdad.
But the world's like that.
Pero el mundo está así. How to stop being proud?
You know, you have to move everything.
Tienes que mover la carga de lo que sientes.
Because otherwise you have a list.
Porque si no vas a tener una lista
You have an accumulations of things you did wrong to me.
de las situaciones de lo que tú hiciste mal conmigo.
And that list
Y la lista es
leads to resentment.
lleva al resentimiento
And it poisons the
y
relationship.
envenena la relación.
So you have to really move it
Así que tú tienes que realmente mover todo lo que sientes
and genuinely let
y
it go.
genuinamente dejar ir la
So you can see your partner in you
para poder ver a tu pareja nuevo,
and the love continues to
el
flourish.
amor continúe floreciendo.
Or else it's just you start to accumulate
No, simplemente vas a continuar
all of these
acumulando
judgments.
tus juicios.
Have you ever seen really old married couples
¿Has visto parejas realmente viejas que llevan mucho tiempo
and one
juntas
talks
y que uno habla
and the other one does this?
y el otro hace esto?
Or one nags
O uno se queja
and the other's like
y
this?
el otro así.
You don't want that sort of
Ese
relationship
tipo de relación no la quieres, ¿no?
because it's habitual.
Porque es una habitual.
It's not based in love.
basado en amor.
It's based in
Está
addiction,
basado en la adicción,
attachment,
en apego,
responsibility,
responsabilidad,
blah, blah, blah,
y
blah, blah.
bla.
But if you move
Pero
everything,
si mueves la carga de todo lo que sientes,
if you move
si
everything
mueves todo,
and you're open to a new
y te
moment,
abres a un nuevo momento,
the love continues to grow.
el amor continúa creciendo.
You know, always be looking forward.
Siempre mira hacia adelante.
Always be moving forward.
Siempre sigue avanzando.
Don't take anything from the
No te
past.
lleves nada contigo del pasado.
Maybe you learned
Tal
something
vez aprendiste
and you
algo
remember,
y lo vas a
but then
recordar,
let it all
pero
go
después deja ir todo.
and see each moment afresh.
Mira cada momento a nuevo.
And that's how you enjoy your
Es
life,
así como vas a disfrutar tu vida.
your relationships,
Relaciones,
every aspect,
todo,
in this moment, in this moment, in this moment,
en este momento, en este
spontaneous,
momento,
afresh.
nuevo.
That's how to live,
Es así como hay que vivir.
not with the list
No con una lista
of what you did bad to
de lo que
me.
el otro te hizo mal.
And you know what they say?
¿Y viste lo que dicen? ¿No?
Pride goes before a fall.
El orgullo va adelante de la caída.
Hmm? Gracias.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.